Hello, anybody who is watching this. Uh, I'm recording a video. That's what I'm doing right now. And that's not something I usually do. Actually, it's not something I've ever done. But I have enjoyed sharing the progress that I've made on my game. I like posting the videos, and I like it when you guys watch it and give feedback. And I thought maybe it would be fun to record something that shows how I'm actually building it. And maybe it will be motivating for me to work on it without it just being this solo thing where I'm just alone in my project. Maybe this will make it feel like I have an audience and it will help me feel motivated and more productive and get more things done. So yeah, this is my little experiment that I'm doing right now. Um, and right now, what I'm working on is a new enemy. And the enemy is called the Reaper. And basically, this is kind of where I'm at on my roadmap. Uh, Most recently, I released some new battle suits, and they each have some unique abilities, and that was really fun. I really enjoyed the changes in combat dynamic when there was different people engaging in different roles. I definitely got a lot of good insight from the playtest and just seeing how it worked to play with other people. Um, but at the end of the day, the combat system and the abilities are really only as fun as the enemies you can kill with them. And I am pretty tired of fighting the same enemies, the flower pot turret, the mummy, and the mummy archer. Uh, so I think it's time to really try to introduce some diversity in my enemy set. Um, so I already posted a video of the skeleton tank. He's kind of the first step. It's actually been a while since I've made a new enemy. These guys, the three that are in the project now, actually come from the earlier iteration of this project. They were basically ported over, and I made those guys like years ago. So the skeleton tank was a good start. But if you look at him closely, you might notice that his behavior is really not that much different from the enemies that I already have in the game. Um, he actually has pretty much the exact same behavior. Let me pull him up really quick. So here he is, and this is his prefab. And if you look closely, I have these AI states, and basically his behavior is defined in these little state components that have connections between each other. And what it really amounts to is he's idle, he hangs out. When an enemy is detected, he pursues. This has some parameters for what animation plays while he's pursuing, a standoff distance, basically how close he will attempt to pursue his target before he stops, how frequently he reevaluates his target, stuff like that. And of course, state transitions. If he no longer has a target, obviously there's nobody to pursue, so he will return to the idle state. Uh, oh, that's actually wrong. Dead target should not be the ball swing attack. Should be the idle state. But okay, well that's probably a bug. But anyway, and then of course it has a list of candidate attacks. So that was one change I made for this guy. I can basically drop in multiple attacks that he can perform, and each of these is their own state. So a ball swing attack um, that has its animations defined, has a wind up animation and an execute animation, so that we can have like parameterized telegraphing. Basically, you can imagine an enemy might wind up a very powerful attack for a longer duration, and he might wind up a weaker attack for a very short duration. The shove attack state, for example, doesn't have any wind up. Essentially, it's just baked into one animation because it's a very fast attack. Basically, it's the attack that lets you know you got too close to me, and I'm just gonna shove you out of the way. So Don't get too close to the skeleton tank. And I haven't showed it, but I actually added a ball slam attack as well. But anyway, if you take this guy and you compare him to, for example, our mummy, you'll see that mostly these stats are this. These states are the same. There's an idle state, a pursue state, and an attack state. It's because they have the same behavior. Under the hood, these enemies do basically the exact same thing. And so for the next enemy, I really wanted to kind of challenge that. I wanted to do something different to introduce a different role on the battlefield to uh, to engage players differently, to hopefully add a little bit more diversity in the encounters. I guess the idea is to build up sort of like a rich set of enemy behaviors. And what I'm hoping will happen is that for any given encounter, if I sort of mix up the composition of that encounter, that I might create these more dynamic feeling and have a more diverse set of battlefield evolutions, I guess. You can imagine that fighting against a lot of ranged enemies requires different tactics than fighting against a bunch of slow, lumbering, hard hitting enemies. And that might require a different set of tactics than having a couple slow, hard hitting, lumbering enemies with a mixture of maybe these enemies that sort of dart around quickly, that are hard to hit, that are evading you, and that sort of force you to move around or prevent you from staying in one place for too long. Um, and then, of course, adding priority targets, things like enemies that heal other enemies that basically need to become the focal points of your tactics. Um, but I guess the idea is I want to be able to combine those in different ways and hopefully create these fun and novel experiences for the players. So anyway, that's why I'm working on the Reaper. And the Reaper is really the first step towards introducing a little bit more enemy behavior diversity into the project. Um, so here he is. This was free model from, geez, I don't remember. I brought in a bunch of third-party assets, basically. That's kind of been my approach here. I could just gray box this entirely and use cylinders and cubes, but I do like having something that gives it a little bit more character than that. The trade-off being that I'm kind of stuck with the animations I have, and sometimes I have to make decisions about like what types of enemies I want to design. Anyway, this guy came from this publisher on the Unity asset store called Downrain DC. So he has this monster set Reaper. There's a bunch of different like color variations and stuff, and I like his stuff. The main downside is the animations are pretty bad, but this guy's he doesn't have legs, so how bad can the animations really be? But anyway, so the way I want to design this enemy is that he kind of just hangs out a little bit. I want him to sort of be aloof. I want him to kind of hover around until he finds a target. And once he finds that target, then I want him to telegraph for a moment that he's locked in. And I want him to swoop in relatively quickly and from a pretty far distance. Um, and once he swoops in, he's going to queue up an attack and he's going to strike. And so the idea is that you might be gathering up some enemies, you might be kiting them into a group to execute some attack on them, and your plan might be disrupted by this guy because the moment he spots you, he's going to traverse a lot of distance. He's going to come all the way across the battlefield and he's going to swoop in and he's going to kind of throw a wrench in your plan, I guess is the idea. Um, and I think he'll hit pretty hard, probably medium, like not too weak but not too hard, because he's gonna have a fairly low attack rate. I think I kind of see him as spending a lot of time idling, and then really like swooping in and attack, and then from there he's gonna kind of hang out a little bit. I don't see him as like he's not a persistent pursuer. He's a idle hover waits for the moment to strike. The line is clear. Swoop in, attack, and actually I don't know what he'll do after that. If he'll just idle around, probably that for now. Maybe he'll swoop out or something. Anyway, that's the idea. So I do have my prefab set up here already. I actually use Claude with Unity MCP to set this up, and I haven't really reviewed it very closely. I did just checked it in editor and played it. It's the behavior is okay. I can just show you guys what it looks like. Do, do. So I put him in town, so he's just hanging out in here around the corner. And let's see what he does. Oh, so he is. Oh, okay. Yeah, he's up there. See him? He's idling. Yeah, it actually looks not too bad. I think he needs to stop once in a while. He looks a little nervous. Oh, he does not aggro on damage. That's something I should probably add. I don't think any of the enemies aggro on damage. They only aggro on proximity. But let's see. I'm gonna inch. Oh, he sees me, and there he is. Hi. Oh, you turned the wrong way. Okay, I don't know what you're doing. Well, yeah. What are you doing? Why are you doing that? Okay, so not perfect. He's not playing any animations, but that's actually what I was gonna do during this video is get his animation set up. But clearly there's something wrong with his targeting. I also noticed that his hitbox is not applying damage. Oh, what is actually maybe it's just too small. Yeah, okay. Well, it was a good effort, Claude. Pretty good. Let me just. Sorry, guy. Goodbye. Okay, well, let's look at the animations. So I'm gonna open them up again, and I'm gonna look at the animator. I did start setting this up already, so I'm not starting from nothing. Um, but what I'm gonna work on next is the attack animations because, like I mentioned before, I want to have configurable telegraphing. And that means that all of his attack animations kind of need to be split up into two phases. He needs a wind up, and during the wind up, I would have some kind of ground effect that would indicate this guy's about to attack. Um, and here, let me show you. I can scrub through one of his animations and kind of show you what that might look like. If I go to, for example, his attack one, here's the whole animation. I'll just play it straight first. Okay, yeah, it's not too bad. It's pretty basic. But the problem is, if I want to wind this up, I need to split it up into like two phases, right? And actually, this animation is set up almost perfectly for that. It's really not bad at all. You can see right around here, like you can imagine, he's like, boom, uh, boom, wind up, execute. Yeah, it's kind of lifeless animation, but it'll work. So I'd say like right around here is where I'm gonna say this is the wind up. Basically all of these keyframes. Ooh, and I'll probably have this non-looping. So he just kind of holds that state until he's ready to execute, and then I'm gonna pick up right where that left off and go into this one, the execute. And so what I need to do is split this into two animations. And I already started doing that. I have a wind up here. Um, but I haven't actually started splitting out the keyframes. So right now, these are both just duplicates. I just took the attack 01 and duplicated it into this wind up and this execute. I did do one thing. I noticed that so when you're splitting an animation like this, it's tempting to want to just copy the keyframes into a new clip, and that can work, but there's a problem with it, which if I go back to the original starting point, you can see that if I copy these keyframes, I'm actually not going to copy a keyframe that represents the point in motion for a lot of these bones. They're not because they're not keyframed. And interestingly, Unity does not have a good way of solving this. If you want, you can right click on all of these and add a key and go through and do that for every single bone, which is tedious. But what I did is I actually had Claude just write me a keyframe baker. And I actually just used this for the first time, and it worked perfectly. So you can see how this every single thing in here is keyframed. So that's actually perfect. And so the nice thing about this is basically where I want the execute to begin. And now I have every single bone position keyframed at the start, and I can just copy all of these, go over to my execute. I'm going to delete all of those and just paste in. Boom. There you go. Now I have an execute. Boom, boom, boom. Looks pretty good. And I can go back to my windup, and then I can actually just delete all of these keyframes. Now I have a windup, which looks pretty silly on loop, but that's okay. Um, so now that I have the clips, I do need to set up the states for that. And I guess really quick, I could kind of give you a tour of how I set up animators. I've settled on a pattern that I think is really handy, um, that helps manage state transitions really well. And the pattern I use is basically that at the lowest level, I have the motion control. This guy is really simple. He just has literally idle and moving. Let me show the skeleton tank really quick. He's a bit more involved for his motion. Oh, those are just junk states. Let me delete those. Still not too bad. As far as state machines go, this is very simple. But basically, he has an idle state, and that literally plays his idle animation. He has a movement blend tree, and he also has a turning blend tree that I'm not really using that right now. But the idea is that if I want him to turn in place, he came with some shuffling animations, and so I included a blend tree for those. Just it's not in use. And so the idea is that this layer basically represents only the animation for his like physical his locomotion, his motion through the world, uh, which is basically not moving, moving, or turning in place. And the nice thing is that I don't need to worry about attack state transitions. Uh, because if I started putting attacks in here, it's like, well, what if I attack from idle? What if I attack while I'm turning? What if I attack while I'm moving? Do I need to have transitions to every single attack from every single motion state? Like, I really don't want to deal with that. It would be nice if I could just globally, from whatever I'm doing, blend into an attack, and when it's done, blend out. And that's what the layers allow you to do. I found this kind of nifty setup. And so the attacks are all placed in this attack layer. It is just a normal override blending layer, fully weighted. And the interesting thing I discovered is that if you just put a state with no motion in here, then this layer does nothing. It doesn't have any effect. It doesn't write to any bones, and it doesn't interfere with what's going on in the layers below it. And so that's really handy because I can create this idle state, and the default will be that the attack layer is contributing nothing towards the animation state. It's just hanging out, waiting for something to happen. And then I have any state transitions to the various attack clips, and these are, they use trigger parameters. And so what happens is if I set, for example, the attack 1 condition, then no matter what I'm doing in here, I will immediately take this transition. I will do a very brief blend from whatever here, let me do a preview idle. Whatever it was doing before, in this case it would be nothing, and it's going to blend in. Let me make this bigger. It's going to blend in this attack animation, right? And then the attack will take a natural exit transition back to idle. And that's how all of these states are structured. And the windup one is a little different. The windup doesn't have a natural exit because it's non-looping, and I want it to just stay in the windup until something else triggers its exit. I feel like this is going to bite me in the ass later on. I feel like inevitably I'll have bugs where it gets stuck in this state because the only way to get out of this state is to explicitly take another transition, but for now it's fine. I can't allow it to naturally exit because I want it to hold this state. I suppose I could do another trigger, but the any state covers it. So anyway, So that's the windup. The execute, again, follows the same pattern. It has the trigger, which is the attack one execute trigger, and then it naturally transitions into the idle no op state through this exit time transition. And I guess I didn't say it explicitly, but just to make it clear, there is a wind up trigger that is separate from the execute trigger. So using this flow does rely the code has to trigger the wind up first, and then at some point in the future, uh, oh yeah, actually, you know what I need? I don't have it in here, but what I need is a cancel wind up. I need a way of exiting. Because if, for example, he gets stunned in the middle of a wind up, I haven't tested it, but it might get stuck in this state until the next time he triggers an attack. So anyway, I'll come back to that. I'm not really interested in fixing that right now. I haven't seen that behavior, so it might not even be an issue. But anyway, so that's how I have the attack layer set up. There's a few more. There's a really simple dead layer. This one's nice. It's just like, hey, are you dead? Then play the death animation. Oh, actually, I don't have a transition out of that. Well, oh, the enemies can never revive, but just to be super thorough, I should do if you're not dead, then go back to idle. And the cool thing here is like if I wanted to, I could do like a revive sequence by like introducing, you know, just like theoretically, if I have like my revive animation, then what I could do is have my dead transition through revive, you know, like dead, false, and then have my revive naturally transition. When I say naturally transition, I mean using just an exit time, non-conditional, unconditional exit time transition. Have it basically transition back to idle, which is the nothing state, and that would give me the opportunity to sort of sequence through a revive state. But anyway, uh, let me make sure I didn't break that. Dead false, back to idle. Yep. And then I also have a status layer. So this one, similar. Oh, actually, I think I am maybe a little redundant. I have the death one defined here. I don't think that's right. There's no conditions on that. That seems wrong. But it's playing a death animation. I don't really want to mess with this, but... Oh, yeah, never mind. This is ignored. That's why. This is nothing. I'm going to delete that. Okay. Anyway, the status layer basically represents, well, really just the stunned state. So idle meaning I have no status effect. And then if I become stunned, then I play a stunned start, which looks like this. Boop. He kind of throws his head back. And then it naturally transitions into a stunned loop, which looks like this. Kind of the same pattern as the wind up, where you have like an intro and then a loop that it layers into, or that it sequences into. But anyway, so that is the structure of the skeleton tank animator, and I actually just copied and pasted it for the Reaper. I considered using an override controller, but I find that there's often subtle differences. Like if I had a dedicated artist, I'd probably be able to define a stronger animator contract and be able to like do shuffle animations. But this guy just doesn't come with those animations, and so I'm like, I don't really want to have dead animation blend trees in here, so I just copied and pasted his animator. I try to keep the parameters the same so that they're roughly compatible, but he may have different state transitions and stuff. But anyway, so I do have the attack wind up, attack execute already in here, copied over from the skeleton tank. So let me just go ahead and look. What is this? I gotta find him here. What does this actually look like when I play it? I'm gonna do a preview state idle. Whoops, gotta select him. There you go. Yeah, that looks good. And make sure that this is set not to loop. Oh, sorry. Yeah, wind up is not looping. And the execute's also not looping. So basically I have my attack one wind up, and then the execute should, let me preview it from the wind up because that's what we will expect the transition to be. Yeah, okay. I did notice, yeah, there's no exit time. So technically you could interrupt the windup with the execution. And I do have a transition duration in here, but this looks, oh, let me do that. That looks pretty smooth. That looks perfect actually. Which makes sense because I matched it at the keyframe level, but for some reason the skeleton tank had a discontinuity there that I had to cover up with this blend, but this looks pretty good. So can I change the exit time? Let's just as an example. So this is what it might look like if I have a long windup. So it's a little awkward. If I wanted to be really detailed, I could do a windup start and a windup loop where he's holding it. Maybe he like goes like this or something like that, and then have the windup loop then go into the execute. I just can't be bothered right now, and I don't think that the windup is going to be significantly longer than the animation duration anyway. So anyway, I do not want an exit time. I will trigger this immediately when the execute trigger is set. Okay, so the only thing left to do then is to just make sure that these states are actually setting the correct trigger. Let's see, what did Claude do with this? I haven't looked at this very closely. So, and he used it used the mummy as a template, and I actually changed how I organize these guys a little bit. I'm gonna drop the tank in here. I was a little bit more organized with him, so I'm gonna do a little bit of reorganization here. Ugh. Okay, I did attacks, attack timers. So I'm gonna do attacks, attack timers, and telegraph VFX. Oops. And status VFX. This is just for organization because I started just dumping in a bunch of stuff and it got a little disorganized. So the hitbox attack is gonna go under attacks. This is the legacy attack type. There's a new one, but this will be fine. It works. And the attack timer is gonna go under here. And I'm gonna actually unpack this. This component is responsible for uh, basically sequencing out the charge up, attack, and release. So the state uses this to decide when to execute the attack itself, which is essentially like a hitbox plus damage. It's kind of the relationship there. But I had this weird pattern where I had the attack telegraphing VFX kind of tied into the timer, which sort of makes sense. Uh, but they're like baked together in the prefab, and I don't really like that pattern, so I'm going to pull that out. This is what I've been doing. So the attack timer still triggers the VFX through a Unity event over here. This is I don't know if anybody's noticed, but this attack VFX is basically these particles. Uh, they're not playing. Oh yeah, these ones. So they're just like some basic particles. Uh, oh this, yeah, this effect right here. So that's the charge up. That basically means I'm about to attack, and then when he executes, it goes like this. So anyway, that's what that is. So I've got the telegraph VFX, the attack timer. He only has one attack right now, which is this hitbox attack. I'm gonna unpack that because those are not reused. Combat text, a health bar, stats VFX all look good. So he's got this attack state. This is just the normal attack enemy state. It is the same state that all of the other enemies use. So he has the attack range set to 3. This is basically like if I'm within range, it will actually try to use the attack. If not, it will go back to the pursue. Oh yeah, I think that might be part of the problem. I think these state transitions are really messed up. This trigger is not right. It's not the wind up overhead attack. It is the, I already forget. I think it's attack one. Attack one. Wind up. Attack one. Wind up. And the execute would be attack two. Execute. And movement is not. It's actually just moving. Attack speed is right. I'm going to do one for the attack speed. Should be fine. Okay. And what else do I need in here? The timing. Charge up duration of 1 second. Hmm. Yeah, let's just try it. Sometimes you just gotta try it. You can't see it, but I'm running 2 instances of Unity. Basically, one of them acts as the server. It's over here, dude. And I have it configured to just initialize the town scene, and then I can just connect to it right away. And it registers itself with the API so that it's available as a server to join. Okay, let's see if you're playing the animations right. Uh, hmm. Oh, well, there you go. There's that bug. He's stuck in the wind-up state. So you can actually see it. Oh, there you go. So that is not correct. Let's see what's going on. Should I just have Claude try to fix this? I feel like it's not very good at configuring prefabs like this. Oh, attack 2 execute. Yep, see, I just typed it. I bet you watched me do that and didn't say anything. How dare you? Out for a moment, but I think we're back. Anyway, what was I doing? I'm about to test the oh, animation, but I didn't restart it. So hold on, I gotta restart my server. Oop. There you are. Okay, yeah, actually that's not bad. That's I don't know, he's still just doing it in the wrong direction, but oop, boom. Yeah, I think that actually checks out. Does it? Oh, the timing is even not bad. Like if he was just looking in the right direction, uh hmm. What do I feel about him though? He's not his behavior is a little too hmm. He's a little too robotic. Like he's got no like I think he should be floatier. Like he should be drifting around and kind of like maybe he should be charging up his attack as he's moving towards you still. Like he kind of like or something like that. Maybe he just like drift past you and kind of like face you while he's charging up. Yeah. Goodbye. Okay, but not bad. So that was cool. Um, let's look at his weird behavior. And this one I'm probably gonna have to get into the code a little bit. I haven't actually looked at any of this code yet. Okay, and I'm back. You didn't even know I was gone, but basically I left off and I was having some issues with the facing direction. It was attacking in the wrong direction. That got pretty deep into the code and it wasn't really very interesting to record, so I just cut it out. But we did fix the issue. The root issue was basically that the facing direction was being calculated as the target position offset from the player. And what was happening is he would get close to the player and then try to face this point that was displaced from the player's position. And that point was often behind him if he was too close to the enemy. And so just adjusting the parameters, I was able to get him to a point where he would strike in the correct direction, but then overstep that offset position, and then he would turn around and attack in the wrong direction. Anyway, he's been updated to always face the target. Since he's floating, I figure the facing direction doesn't really need to match the movement direction because he can kind of move and look independently. So I went ahead and made that change. And I also had Claude implement a retreat state, which was actually its suggestion. I thought was a pretty good suggestion. And so I'm about to show it. And this was basically all Claude. I stopped looking at the code and just let Claude take over. And the results are actually pretty decent. I think it still needs to be refined a little bit, but it looks pretty good. So let's let the results speak for themselves. So here I am playing my Wizfart character. Let me maximize it so we can get. Oh! I just teleported on accident. Sorry, dude. Okay, he's back. And there you go. Oh, he missed. Okay, well that wasn't great, but there you go. So he hit me, and he's kind of retreating, and you can see how he's always facing me. And like, let's see, what if I run away? Oh, well, yeah, it's okay. It's okay. I think he needs to go a little bit further. I think his swoop state needs to probably have a little bit more flexibility. Like maybe he should have a limited turning rate, but continue to pursue. But overall, like it's not bad. It's pretty good. Pretty good. Oop. So now you can see that he retreats backwards. I actually really like that because once he swoops in, he kind of like taunts you a little bit and backs off. So overall, I think this is pretty good. I'm really excited about it. I think there's still quite a bit of tweaking to do, but overall, I feel like he's at a position where I could probably just drop him in and see how he feels with the other dudes. I'll probably tweak him a little bit. Oh, how's his collision? I'm just curious. No, I feel like I'm confusing him. He's like, whoa, what are you doing? Yeah, he feels Reapery to me. Like I think the back off and the strike. I feel like I'm getting that vibe. Like that's what he's doing. He's coming in, he strikes, and he backs off. It's not perfectly smooth, but it's oh, and then he idles. The idle actually adds a lot. Like he's like I'm done here. So yeah, I still need to hook up his death. Okay, last thing we're gonna do. We're gonna hook up his death animation really quick. That's easy. I think I just need the. Do I have the transition set up? Oop. Last thing, and then I'm going to bed. Okay, yeah, it's the wrong animation. I'm still using the animation from the tank dude. So Reaper die, boop, and let's see how that looks. Oh, there he is. That's yeah. This is what I was talking about. Like that's just not that good of an animation. It's just so. It's just so. What is that? It's just bland. Bland. Very bland animation. That's okay. I think I can just make it twice as fast. Maybe. That's better. Still not great, but it's better. Okay. And that uses the dead trigger and that is set to dead. So really quick, let's just test that. And then I gotta figure out how to cut this video up. Okay. Oh, I like that. Oh, the way he went past me, that was kind of cool, actually. That was actually kind of cool. Like, wait, hold on. What happens if how did that happen? That was kind of weird. Oh, he tacked towards me though. Yeah, that was pretty cool. Okay, sweet. Good work. I feel like this is coming together. I'll continue working on it, and hopefully you will see him soon on the live game. Pretty soon. Keep an eye out. Watch the Discord channel every day. You never know when it's going to land. Probably not tomorrow, though. Probably not for like a week or two, to be honest. But I'm making pretty good progress. So anyway, thanks for watching. Let me know if this was educational. I would love to hear back from you, or if you have any feedback, just let me know. See ya.